Hello there, my name is Retro Lucky to talk about animation. Today we talk about My Adventure of Superman episode 7. Yes, I'm a little late for this video, but besides that, how I feel about this episode. In general, it's good. Not amazing, but good. It's one of those episodes sort of give you more things to think about the characters, the relationship, and what actually happens. They use the multi-theory sort of plot line that was sort of kind of tired of, not tired of, like I keep seeing this over and over in different media. It's more like I felt they didn't use it at full potential, because the multi theory is more like a setup pointing on their main character to see and contrast who they are and what level they are. For one of the big examples, Lois Lane, because this Lois is probably the most weakest Lois, the one who didn't accomplish the things she must do, compared to the other Lois who are basically champions because they have everything in control. They have their life set with how they want it, except for Lois herself. And that is sort of interesting. That I wish they explored a little bit longer, because this is a 20-minute episode that I feel you could do two-parter. Just see her talking with Lois, what they make them special, and compare to her, and basically use that as sort of a confident boost of the original Lois Lane on this show. But once more, that's if they actually can do it in the limited time. Unfortunately, they didn't, and that's the thing. I feel they have so much interesting, good ideas using this to help the story, but because of time limit, they can't do it. They can usually do a two-parter, but they chose not to, and that's the thing that sort of frustrate me a little bit. The potential to see more development of these characters. Even this show goes 110 miles of development, different changes, how the show is kind of moving in a certain direction so fast. It's so amazing. Maybe I see too much, but I don't know you. It was still a good episode. I was a little hoping a bit more, but it's still good. No, the whole story of this episode, especially two plots. The first plot is basically Superman trying to be setting up his date with Lois. He finally asked her, he playing everything. This could be the normal thing for him or her. No Superman BS, just them. Mr. Pigwillick sort of reappears and messed it up, because that's Mr. P. Mr. P is the sort of an asshole you don't want as a friend. You keep busting the door asking for favors. Or better yet, he's a chaos god who is basically like Superman. You sort of assess with them of different versions that he's assessed with them for because he can't really prank him completely. He cannot dominate him as a joke, because Superman always one up him at the very end using his last name. Not his last name, his full name, but backwards. Yeah, when you say his name backwards, he sort of pops out of his own universe. So yeah, that's the only way to defeat Mr. Piddly, because he's that powerful, you can touch him. But I feel sort of weird they decided to change a few things, but I'm okay with it, because Mr. P is sort of hard to make him interesting in the main story, or at least connect to the main story, because it's just sort of too powerful sometimes. I feel that the take was sort of interesting, especially he's sort of an elf space god. Yeah, I was like, okay, I can work with this. But besides that, I kind of enjoy how Mr. P sort of kind of convinced Superman to help him to go inside of a secret organization to save Lois that was sort of alive, because Mr. P always is a SOB, a liar. But besides that, it was sort of interesting, because this new organization is sort of alliance of Lois, built by Lois's for Lois's and Jimmy's. But a lot of it is interesting is sort of they use this to compare Lois, our Lois of this show, or her life goals. Like she sort of realized, is sort of excited to actually help the Loises, because she feels important, but yet she never really being used how she wants to be used. She wants to be important. She wants to be accomplished. In this point, she thought it should be her thing right now, but no. She realized she just needed her DNA to find their version of Superman. You also realizing she is sort of the loser of the other Loises, that she doesn't really accomplish that much compared to all the other Loises who has awards, champions, things that she wishes she can do, but she is sort of sad because she never really accomplished anything, and that sort of kind of eats her alive. That's why I think the best moments of this episode really is just to understand who she is and what to do better. But I find more interesting that she notices the Loises are actually lying to her because they trying to do sort of secret espionage to trick her to help them to fight Superman. And she kind of helps Jimmy and Lois to sort of figure it out, like what was the secret. But during this time, Iron Man, Superman, and Mr. P sort of go to their prison to break out certain things, so Mr. P needs to be used. But I love it how Mr. P is always lying, trying to be sort of pathetic, loser, trying to help me, Superman. And at the very end, you realize, no, he's just tricking him to break in, to steal stuff, and just get his full power. And I thought that's sort of interesting. That's sort of, Superman will help because he's just a nice guy. Mr. P knows this, how he plays the cards. But I love it, Mr. P also has some secrets besides lying using Superman. He's sort of, he knows the bigger picture. He knows all this happened because of Superman, or one version of Superman, the reason why this sort of organization is built because of him. And I thought that sort of interesting that he doesn't really explain that much to Superman. He give him little tips and hints who he is, what he's come from, and Superman wants to know. But Mr. P, being Mr. P, no, why do I tell you? Because I want to mess with them, especially when he finds what he's looking for, his sort of small little purple hat. Yeah, that's sort of iconic with Mr. P, that his purple hat became sort of a crown. I was sort of surprised they went that direction because I prefer him with the hat because I'm so used to it. And now he became a crown. Then he transformed to his real form. I was like, I can still work with this. A little disappointing, but I can still accept this. Yeah, I feel it's sort of interesting how powerful he is. He also was sort of fascinating. Mr. P was sort of limited in his powers for at least a good explanation why he doesn't his full potential, because he is a god now, words, or a fourth dimensional imp that can destroy the world if he wishes. But in the very end, he's just a prankster who likes Superman to be pranked 24/7. But besides that, Superman sort of realized what's actually going down and attempted to take him down. In between this, the League of Loises finally found Superman, trying to stop them, is trying to stop Mr. Penguin himself. But more information coming out, and also the moment that everybody is sort of waiting for, that Superman finally sort of kiss Lois Lane, or at least be together officially. And I think that's the biggest thing that the fans really wanted, because this show just speed up dating so fast that you finally got it. Sort of, oh, this is how you feel like. This is finally feels like a two couples in the show. You finally have what you want in real time, because usually the kiss takes about me 2-3 seasons, sometimes 5 or something 8 seasons to get what you want, and decide to not drag it, give straight to the point you want. It was, to my feeling, glorious. But to be fair, I know this is gonna happen because it's Superman and Lois. They're always endgame. But besides that, it's nice to have this first season, not to wait to season 2. But besides that, after they figure out what's going on, after the League of Lois portrayed Lois and Superman, more information come out that Lois sort of helped Mr. Pitbull take some information of them. They sort of secretly to understand why the Lois don't want to share. But I find it fascinating understanding one specific thing, that this Lois share more with the Prime Lois, that they don't trust anyone in any type of information, only herself. Yeah, I thought that's sort of interesting, that make this our Lois the biggest, baddest Lois than the other Loises. The only one who's equal to her is the main Lois. So, I don't know you, that's a power boost in my book. I kind of wish she doesn't really realize. I mean, she sort of does, that she is probably the best version of herself, but she's not yet completely understanding that. That's a sort of a big power boost. Doesn't matter who you are. If you know you're the best of the original, you know you're a top dog. I kind of wish they played more about that, but the only problem is, because of time limit, after defeat the bad guy, betrayal, everything go back to normal till Lois brings a specific file with Mr. Pingley, kind of give it to her, that she's trying to understand what was the secret. And the secret was Superman was sort of evil, a complete diversion. And then Mr. P reappears, telling her, "You think Superman is always good. No, they also sometimes be really bad." And that's sort of a kind of weird accession of that version of Superman for a longest time. Like, almost for 10 years, people were obsessed with evil Superman because they're sort of nihilistic. I'm okay with evil Superman, but I prefer the OG, the Boy Scout. And that's why I really enjoy this sort of this could be a problem in the near future. What was the thing will break Superman becoming evil? I'm always fascinated of the line of what is the one bad day for you. The day will break you, change you. And sort of fighting against it is sort of always interesting because you don't know what makes someone truly evil or broken to that sort of specific point. If that point happens, how you will react to it. You be fully mad or fully prepared for the moment should not break you. That's sort of interesting, especially someone who loves you, who knows who'll be broken, trying to stop it before it actually happened. This simple plot thread could do so much interesting things in the next 4 episodes. To see the relation build the relationship, he also give you the idea why Lois Lane is so important to Superman. She is her rock, her anchor, and vice versa to Superman. Because I love this version of them because it really breaks down how they complement each other so much, how much they sort of need each other. Because one is an optimist, one is a realist. But sometimes you need a little bit more optimistic on your realism, and your realism a little bit on the optimist. And I enjoy that because these two couples explain so much about this story, understand why they work, what is sort of the standard of a superhero couple, why they need each other. Besides of hundreds of people trying to not rip, sort of copy and paste their dynamic and usually sort of failing or misunderstanding or don't know what to do with it. I mean, you could watch any kind of version of a superhero with a reporter, just repeat the same process as Superman and Lois Lane, just sort of change a few things. But besides that, I really enjoyed this episode. It was fun, especially Jimmy, because you find a female Jimmy that they act the same. But I love this female Jimmy. She was sort of, oh, I'm trying to be straight. I'm trying to be perfect. Trying to be a badass like the old Lois Lane. When the art Jimmy says something dorky or something supernatural, she breaks down and freaks out. And that was funny. That was enjoyable. I wish we see more versions of Jimmy, but to be fair, Jimmy is a wild card if you know his history because he has done so many weird things that I'm sort of disappointed in that attempt to do an animated series of all his history. But besides that, I really did enjoy it. I did love it. I enjoyed it because it helped to see what happens next, to see the plot that unfold. But besides that, how you felt about this episode? You just happy to find two couples find kiss? You're happy to see what's gonna happen next? You enjoy Mr. P League? Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.